It's May 12th. I've been on vacation. I was away for 8 days, and then I came back, immediately had to pack and leave for a work overnight. So I've been gone for 10 days. And before I left, I was kind of panicking because it was pretty hot, so I installed a drip irrigation system everywhere along with a faucet timer. And I watered everything really deeply before I left, and then I set the timer to drip for 15 minutes every single morning at 7:45 a.m. and my goal was to just try and keep everything alive until I got home. And I was pretty worried while I was away because the weather forecast said every single day I was gone was in the low to mid 80s and sunny as highs, and we haven't had a drop of rain here in 2 weeks. Every single day has just looked like this, at least according to the weather stations. Every time I checked, it would be 80 and sunny, so I was worried that the containers would dry out pretty quickly. And I fertilized everything with a soluble mix that I kind of make myself. I combine a few things, and I sprayed everything down with neem oil and a little bit of copper to prevent any diseases. And I am just frankly dumbfounded as what I came home to see. I can't believe how much everything has grown. It looks like I was gone for a month. My garden bed, a lot of the things are mature in it. The dill is starting to go to seed. I'm going to have to cut that back. The peppers are all putting on peppers. They need to be fertilized a little bit. Some of them are still a little yellow from the transplant phase. My cool weather lettuce has all gone to seed. And my beets are almost ready. I just laid down some soaker hose everywhere, and I'm going to pull this out because the soaker hose experiment was a bit of a disaster. It floods at the connection point and it leaves the ends pretty dry, but it kept everything alive, so I can't really complain. The most amazing thing to me is the basil. This basil was a few inches tall when I left, and now it's a foot tall. It grew practically a foot in a week and a half. But the tomatoes are really what have me just amazed. I'm so impressed by how well they're doing. These San Marzanos are starting to put on plums. They look great. That'll have to be trimmed heavily and restaked or retied. But this brandy boy, these are the most amazing tomatoes. Last year they were the first tomato for me to give a beefsteak, and it looks like this year they might be the same. Just the amount of fruit on this plant. You can see it better from the back. It's May 12th, and it's just amazing. Everywhere you look. And it's setting very well. These will all be new tomatoes. I was going to try and single stem, but this one's gotten so out of control and away from me, I can't do anything about it. So I'm just going to do the best I can. This Cherokee purple, baseballs. The mortgage lifter's lagging a little bit behind. It's a late season tomato, but it's still making some fruit. I'm probably going to have to cut this one off. This one has really bad cat facing. That's a shame. More San Marzanos. This is the Cherokee Carbon, which 3 weeks ago, when I planted it, was only this tall. So this will make a good tutorial video for pruning because it hasn't really been pruned. But now it's 3 feet tall. Here is another, I think this is a Cherokee purple. No, this is a brandy boy. You can see it's setting fruit. Bigger than most of the other ones. Really an amazing plant. These brandy boys, I can't recommend them highly enough. More Cherokee purples. This is going to be a big guy when it finishes. Another San Marzano, setting really nice fruit. This has to be pruned. I forget what this one is. This one's a mortgage lifter. It's setting on nicely. A little bit behind, but I'm gonna have to take this sucker off in the back. Another San Marzano setting fruit. And another Brandy Boy. This one gets the least amount of sun being back here. It gets the afternoon sun, so it's a little leggier than the rest. What's really amazing are these dwarf tomatoes. You can see the kind of fruit that they set on. This is a Rosella Purple. I am definitely going to be growing these again next year. You can see how much these little plants are putting on. And they just don't stop. And they're going to be nice sized tomatoes when they're done. They'll probably be 6 to 8 ounce tomatoes, good for slicing. This is another Rosella Purple. This is a bush steak hybrid. It's burpee seed, but they're starting to set on, and these are supposed to ripen more quickly, so I'm hoping to get some of these by the end of the month and have a May tomato. This guy here, very impressive. This is another Rosella Purple. The size of the tomatoes on this plant, this little tiny 3-foot plant, it is just amazing. You can see them all everywhere. I don't know how this little plant supports this many tomatoes. And then the tomatillos are doing pretty well. They're getting pretty viney. So all in all, everything is doing great. I can't recommend this drip system highly enough. I just bought it off of Home Depot's website. It was a Dig brand. I think it was $32. And I'll have to make a little video about it. I just had to buy a little bit of extra 1/4-inch hose and some extra drippers, and that may have cost another $15 plus a faucet timer. All in all, I put this whole drip irrigation system together for probably about $75, $80. So it saved me while I was on vacation. I couldn't have done any better. And then the watermelons I haven't watered in a week and a half, and I'm starting to get some flowering on them. I'll be able to take this little cage I put together off soon. I just was afraid that animals would eat the infant plants. They haven't been watered in 10 days. And you can see how well they're doing. I watered this area very, very heavily before I left. And I know that tomato or watermelon plants don't need much water at all until they start setting fruit. So that worked out great. So really happy with the process. It's supposed to be about 90 degrees today, and then it's going to cool back off into the low 80s. So I have a lot of pruning ahead of me, a lot of work. I have to clean everything up since I've been away. The last thing I wanted to touch on is this potato plant. I grew these from potatoes in the pantry, and this thing is just enormous. I filled in the bag with soil before I left. Might be a little hard to see, but there's 3 drippers in here that kept everything moist while I was away. These are doing really well. And this zucchini, these are 2 gray zucchini plants. I'm probably going to have to fertilize these. They're starting to yellow because they've grown so much since I've been away, and I have to cut some of the die-off off. Some of the bottom leaves are starting to die off, as you can see. So that's everything I have going on now. Everything's doing great. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, feel free to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, share. Thanks.